Hi guys, welcome back to Miscellaneous Pleasures. I'm back with season 2, episode 5 of Dark. I just finished season 2, episode 4 like about 6 or 7 minutes ago. Actually, I think I'm finished it about 10 minutes ago. But then I stopped the reaction or recording there because for some reason my video was lagging. And you know, it was basically causing me trouble. But then here I am back, and yeah, so basically, these sort of 5, 6 minutes have given me some time to sort of think about a few things. And the thing I was going to talk about was about Adam and Jonas and all those type of things. But as I said, let's follow a structure here. If you had seen my last episode's reaction, then you would know that I basically ended the reaction after saying that I want to follow a structure. So here I am following the structure. So POW is person of war, and I guess yeah, that kind of makes sense. Sorry, prisoner of war. That makes sense because he went to 1921, right, which is like few years after World War One, and he also said that Eastern Front, and he was talking about the people who fed him and told him that it was 1921. Like they were talking about how concentration camps and labor camps and all those type of things. I think it's not concentration camps, but then labor camps definitely. So yeah, POW, that was that. Uh, yeah, and obviously Jonas went to 1921. I completely forgot about Jonas. Like, I realized like 5 minutes into this episode that, or maybe less than that, I realized that he was not there in episode 3. And I think I watched episode 2 like 10 days ago or maybe more than that. So I completely forgot what was the last thing he did, which was, of course, enter into the black ball to travel to 2020. And he ended up traveling to 1921. So that was that. Then I have written down that Egon died in his apartment. So that's going to happen this season because the date of this death was 26 June, which is one day before Apocalypse. And if I'm not mistaken, episode 4 was written as 3 days before Apocalypse. So maybe Egon is going to die in like the 6th episode. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that calculation makes sense, but then he has to definitely die in this season. And he died in his apartment, which makes me wonder if it wasn't just a natural death and somebody killed him, because it's a TV show, right? Like, surely it's not going to be a natural death. That's just boring. I've also written down that Hannah and Katerina obviously found out about uh, time travel. I mean, Hannah did know about time travel, but then, she obviously got along. Like, it's now a group of people. It's Charlotta, it's Peter, it's Hannah, and it's Katharina now, who all know about time travel, and they have like evidences of it. Like Ulrich in 1953, they have a photograph of that. They also have Jonas, stranger Jonas, who is a living proof of time travel. Uh, so yeah, that happened. Um, there was obviously another line that sort of caught my eye, which was Clausen and this guy, right? I mean, last episode we had quite a bit of Clausen. Him and the iPads guy, they went around interviewing people, or I should say, interviewing one person because Hannah wasn't in her apartment when they came to interview her, or interrogate her. But then they did talk to Alexander. I don't know. That conversation was all right. I mean, Clausen seemed to be sort of what's clutching at straws really because he did not have anything on Alexander, I feel like. But then the one thing that was interesting about Alexander was his name. Like, why would you take your wife's name? But his reply made complete sense. Like, Tiedemann sort of family was a big family, he sort of helped a lot of people. So, maintaining or continuing that surname, yeah, that does make sense. Uh, Yeah, but then Clausen was talking to the eye patch guy, and the eye patch guy asked him, like, did you like, how did you even become this sort of a person, the Winden Task Force? Were you offered this? Did you get it on your own? Did you want it? Like, what was the deal? And Clausen said that, oh, yes, I wanted this. I mean, I don't think he said I wanted this, but he definitely said, oh, yes. Which makes me wonder if he knows certain things about whatever has been going on here. Like, I'm not saying that he knows about time travel. Maybe he does. Maybe he hasn't time traveled himself, but then maybe he knows about time travel. Maybe he knows, or maybe he's an accomplice of Noah or something like that. Because you know, I mean, we have seen him in this season, so he is a new character for us. But he has sort of been clinical, sort of authoritative. Like he has whatever he has done till now, it has sort of made a lot of sense. The way he questions people, the way he gets the truth out of a situation where other people may think there is nothing here. Like it all seems like, yes, of course, he's a very good policeman. Maybe that's just it. Or he knows some things and he knows how to dig further into those things. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just myself, I'm, clutching at straws here. But then, yeah, I found that line interesting. Uh, Nothing major apart from that happened. I mean, we had Claudia sort of, she came to 2020 into the age of internet and touchscreen desktops, and she obviously found out some truths about her family. Um, and then obviously the end, which is I'm going to talk about now. Adam, Jonas, stranger, three people, same guy. Yeah. Okay, so the thing that I mean, I sort of was saying in the last episode's reaction before it got sort of interrupted midway was that it makes no sense for me that, like, first of all, how are you and your sort of future self in two different teams? Like, how are you against each other? Like, that sort of thing is a bit weird. But then, even if you sort of extend it, like, isn't it sort of the worst betrayal ever possible? Even hypothetically, imagine being betrayed by your future self. Like, wow, that's just, I don't think any other betrayal can beat it. I honestly don't think that any other betrayal can beat it. But then, there's obviously the other question of why am I even saying that these two are in two different teams? Like, we know that probably Noah and Claudia were in two different teams, and that, Noah is working with Adam, but that has nothing to do with the fact that, I mean, that doesn't mean that Adam and Jonas or Adam and Stranger are two different teams, because, you know, it could very well be the case that if you think about it, Jonas, since season one, has wanted all of this to end. He has mentioned it a few times, and it's obvious. Like he even wanted to bring back Mikkel from 86 because that would mean that Jonas wouldn't be born. All these things wouldn't be happening. So he obviously wants to end it. And if you think about it, we have been in this season seeing a lot of the new cycle or the last cycle, sorry, the last cycle begins or something. So if you think about this world as this closed loop, then everything has been happening in sort of like an infinite cycle sort of thing, even though that doesn't make sense, but let's just go with it. Uh, which means that if you change time, if you if you rewrite time, then what you would have could be something that is entirely different from the from the pre-existing cycles, and could become this new and final cycle sort of thing, where there is no closed loop anymore, I guess, which would which is what I guess Jonas wants. which is funny because it's also what Adam wants, and it seems like it's what Stranger wants, because even he was looking to end the time travel from Winden, like that sort of a thing. He wanted to close the wormhole last season. So I think like all three of them want the same thing, which makes sense because all three of them are the same people. So why am I even assuming that all three of them are in a different team just because Noah said it? But then, even if you sort of dig deeper into that, didn't Noah just lie to Adam last episode? Or when I say last episode, I mean third episode, because I remember Adam asked him about the missing pages, and Noah was shaking his head no. So, you know, it could very well be the case that they are not in different teams. Maybe Stranger thinks that Adam is sort of against him, but maybe he's not. Like, I feel like there's layers to the story apart from just this one thing. So yeah, there is that. I was actually wondering something else that struck me in the sort of 5-10 minutes gap that I had between the previous and this recording. Uh, I forgot. I actually have not written this down, but then I remember this scene vaguely. Wait, was it in the finale or was it in the 9th episode? Maybe it was in the finale. I don't know. Okay, so maybe the scene that I'm talking about is Noah is talking to Helga, the middle-aged Helga. Noah is talking to middle-aged Helga, and this scene happens in like I think 9th episode or 10th episode of season 1, where he sort of talks about a guy who looked like he had lost everything and had nothing to live for. Like he says these few things, and when he's saying these things, the camera sort of points to Jonas, who is time traveling to 86 from 2019. So I'm guessing this must have been the finale. And like I even remember like when I was reacting to this, I had this sort of a reaction where I was like, wait, is he talking about Jonas? And then it sort of I was like, no, he's not talking about Jonas, he's probably talking about somebody else. And like, it just went on. But then this episode happened where Noah is young, he sees Jonas, in the state that he saw him in, and we all know what state that was. So I got reminded of it, but then I have not written this down here. So I don't know. I don't remember, so maybe I'm talking rubbish. Anyways, I guess this is time for the 5th episode's reaction. I mean, I feel like I don't know what I feel like. I mean, at this point of time, I'm confused about literally everything because I cannot get my head around the fact that your own future self is your current sort of enemy. Like that makes sense, and that's kind of funny if you think about it metaphorically. But then when it happens to be in a time travel show, that's just that's the ultimate betrayal, right? Something else also happened in 4th episode, which was Bartosz was tied up in the cave by his own friends, who obviously aren't his friends anymore because they did that to him. But yeah, that was also shocking for me, but slightly lower shocking than finding out that Adam is Jonas. So wait, Jonas time traveled so much that he became Adam? Like his face got scarred that much? That's just wow. I mean, I can't, at this point, I can't stop thinking about the revelation and what that could mean for whatever I've watched till now. Like every single scene is going to be a different perspective now. Wow. Okay, here we go. I actually forgot to do that. Here we go. Season 2, episode 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. 5. Wait, are we doing this again? How many times are these people going to have this extreme? Wait. That, that stranger? This is weird. So wait, this is a stranger's dream? Wait, what? Oh, the poor guy has been having the same sex dream for 33 years. Honestly. I mean, I would love to watch myself sleep. That's my eternal goal. I mean, that's just creepy, dude. Come on.
Ist es nicht eigenartig, dass man die größte Abneigung ausgerechnet den
Ja, very
Menschen
good.
entgegenbringt, die einem am ähnlichsten sind?
Especially when you look like that.
Ich will wissen, wie ich wieder nach Hause komme.
And you find out that that's how your future self is going to look like. Yeah.
Zieh dich an.
I don't know, I find this funny. Like, imagine this is not Adam talking to Jonas. Imagine this as younger Jonas talking to himself. Like, you know how, like, in some TV shows or movies, you have like this sort of inner perspective sort of thing that you see performed live. Like, you know, my inner conscience will be telling me, don't eat that food, or something like that. And like, it's kind of funny and sort of, you know, you can have a laugh. And then you see something like this, and where, you know, a guy who is 66 years older than you, your future self, tells you to get dressed.
Du jetzt Bock hast zu reden, haben wir das noch lange nicht.
Yeah, I mean, this scene sort of is a parallel to what happened in season 1, right? They had a similar fight. I think at that point of time, I sort of supported both sides. This time, I actually can't.
Finde jemanden beim LKA, der diesen Klausen kennt.
Am besten morgen schon.
Morgen?
Uh,
So, als wäre ich schon fast tot.
yeah, she is. Okay.
Denk einfach
I mean, if yeah, she is essentially what she's trying to do is, you know, get Egon to come to her house because that would mean that he wouldn't be in his house, which is where he died. I mean, that's cute, but I don't think that's working. That's not working. Oh, that's bad. Oh,
Nein, weiß ich nicht.
oh, nice. Oh, for a second, I thought she was going to. Okay, at least she's not ratting out people. That's good, I guess.
Ein Weg, ihm das alles zu ändern. Dass die Dinge anders passieren.
Ein Schlupfloch.
Okay, there's a loophole that he was talking
Ich
about.
habe 66 Jahre gebraucht, um herauszufinden, wie. Einen Weg dieser ganzen Hölle zu entkommen.
Das alles hier hat etwas mit mir zu tun. Weißt du, wer meine Eltern sind?
Her parents. Ah, I thought he would know. That sucks.
Dein Großvater.
Er
Yeah.
ist nicht mein richtiger Großvater.
Wait, what?
Ich bin aufgewachsen.
She's adopted?
Hat er das hier gewusst?
Der menschliche Körper ist in der Lage, 3 Tage ohne Flüssigkeitsaufnahme auszukommen.
You're not actually suggesting that you're going to kill him. Honestly. Francisca is a bit weird. Magnus, are you serious? What? This is ridiculous. This is beyond ridiculous. Well, I mean, it's nice that you finally admitted what you were doing. But then, I can't believe that they were actually going to do that.
Willst du mich verarschen? Ich hab gleich gesagt, ich komm los. Ihr müsst näher kommen.
Okay, so we have all these people time traveling to somewhere.
Der Störfall letzten Sommer.
Oh my god. Okay, we have Ulrich meeting Mikkel after so long.
Kann ich Ihnen helfen? Sie kommen mir irgendwie bekannt vor.
That's your dad, dude.
Ich habe über 33 Jahre auf diesen Moment gewartet.
Surely Mikkel sort of recognizes who this is.
Die Frage ist
The question is not how, the question is when.
sondern wann.
Oh boy.
Gesagt. Erinnerst du dich?
Of course he does. Wow. Okay, so we have some happiness happening to Ulrich finally. Noah. Wait, that's Noah, right? Yeah, that's Noah. Okay, so wait.
Charlotte.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, he is the father. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the father now.
Damit du mir nicht wiedergenommen wirst.
He is the father.
Genauso wenig wie deine Mutter.
Okay. Dude,
Als du geboren wurdest, haben sie
he,
dir
ha
keine großen Chancen
he has
gegeben.
a photo. Wow.
Du bist zu früh gekommen, warst winzig. Aber du wolltest leben, du warst so stark.
Wait, that's a lot of information to process.
Damit alle leben,
And Adam.
nicht nur die im Bunker.
Punk?
Wer ist meine Mutter?
Please tell me who it is. Please tell. Please don't go just like that.
Sie hat dich sehr geliebt.
We love you very much.
Das tut sie noch immer.
He still does. But she's alive? I mean, we haven't seen Noah talking with any other woman apart from Helga's mother, right? So like, I mean, my only sort of thought, like any sort of sense of resemblance or logic, was that maybe it was Helga's mother, because if he, when I say if he, I mean if Noah had sort of told Helga's mother about time travel, then maybe she would have been with him and sort of traveled to some other time, and maybe that's when sort of Charlotte was born. I don't know. It seems like a plausible theory, but there were a lot of truth bombs in there. Like Noah mentioned something about. I mean, yeah, I'm going to write this down as I speak. He talked about. I mean, first of all, Noah is, for fuck's sake, right? Why is my pen not working? So Noah is Charlotte's father. So that's a theory that's kind of my first one. I think that's correct. In this whole bloody show. And then Noah wants to kill Adam or end Adam, as he said. And he talked about how everything was repeating itself. So, okay. And then he mentioned something about the bunker, but I did not catch it. He also said something about. He said something else which I found peculiar. Remember, dude, come on. Yeah, he said that Adam knew it was you. But then we saw, I think it was this episode, right? Or just the last one? Definitely within these two episodes where Charlotte asked Jonas. Yeah, I think it was this episode. Where Charlotte asked stranger Jonas about if he knew who her parents were. And he said no. So was he just lying? I mean, he knows about Noah. He knows some things about Noah. So, like, did stranger Jonas not know that Charlotte was Noah's daughter? Or did he just happen to lie? And let's take a scenario where stranger Jonas does not know that Charlotte is Noah's daughter. Then that means that at some point of time, Adam must have found out about this. Unless, of course, even Adam doesn't know it, and Noah just thinks that he knows it and hid the truth, which is a completely different story. Okay, please escape. Please. You idiots. I can't believe this is happening second time in a row.
Auf den Boden! Das ist mein Sohn! Ich hab gesagt, runter auf den Boden, sofort!
Okay, Mikkel can help out here, right?
Mikkel! Mikkel, ich komme zurück. Ich bring dich nach Haus.
Why isn't he speaking?
Versprochen! Das ist alles seine Schuld. Das war schon immer. Ich schwöre, beim nächsten Mal bring ich dich um.
Hey, this BGM is back. Oh, dude, no, really? Are you actually having a laugh?
Das sind meine Kinder. Magnus! Martha!
And he's going to sound even crazier, like he's just going out calling every little kid that he's seeing as his children. When in reality, he's not wrong. You're joking.
Es ist nicht dasselbe wie das in der Zukunft. Es ist sozusagen sein Zwilling.
Wait,
Es
what?
ist ein Teil der Unendlichkeit.
Okay. Okay, so even they have one of these black balls.
Die Menschen haben ihm im Laufe der Jahrhunderte die unterschiedlichsten Namen gegeben. Die gibt es. Die Frage ist nur, wann ist der Anfang? Und welches Opfer müssen wir bringen?
Der 20. Juni 2019. Der Tag, bevor alles passiert ist. Bevor Papa sich das Leben genommen hat.
Okay.
Bevor alles auseinandergefallen ist.
But why is that the
Wenn du
beginning?
davon abhalten kannst, sich das Leben zu nehmen, dann wird alles, was folgt, nicht passieren. Wird nicht zurückreisen.
Okay, what?
Du, ich, wir werden nicht geboren.
Okay, so Jonas is going to. That's the end of the episode, right? Okay. I mean, I have been quite speechless for the past few minutes because I'm sort of processing. I'm not really understanding a couple of things, and I will get to that. I just have to note down that Jonas goes to 20 June 2019, right? That's when he said. Okay, first things first. I mean, let's go chronologically because, anyways, I have a few things to talk about. So for some reason, everybody in the show is having like sleep issues, and Jonas has been having these sex dreams for 33 years now. Even Martha had the same dream like last episode. And this time around, there seemed to be something black, like something similar to what we just saw, like this sort of this black ball that we saw. There seemed to be something weird about that, and then he woke up. Like, I don't know, it felt weird. I mean, to think that a guy has been having the same dream for 33 years is something. The second thing I have written down is sort of funny. Funny, maybe important, sort of an Easter egg, maybe something like that. I don't know. There has been mention of something called as the French delegation. I remember this from like the first episode of season 2 or something, where she has to, like, Claudia has some meeting and then her secretary goes, the French delegation is here to talk or something. And she goes, yeah, postpone everything. And this episode also, she was like, cancel everything, schedule everything for later, something like that. And they have been mentioned, I think, one other time too. I don't remember when. I feel like they've been mentioned like 3 times at least in the show. So that's something. We then obviously had the get dressed Adam to Jonas line, and that sort of a creepy sort of thing where he was basically watching Jonas sleep and wake up, which was weird. But then he talked about something called as a man lives 3 lives. And I forget what he said. He said something about naivety. I think that was first. And there's something innocence, I think it was second. I forget what was third. Or maybe third was just death, like the normal death. I don't know. I thought that was a cool line. And then he said this thing in another like scene where he was having this conversation with the owners. He said that it took him 66 years to figure out everything. And this sort of connects to the sort of what we saw in the end. So I'm going to talk about it at that time. We found out that Charlotte is adopted. Like, I thought that Thanos was her grandfather. Apparently he wasn't. He was just a guy who raised her. This wasn't mentioned before, right? Or am I missing something here? Because I thought for some reason that Thanos was her grandfather, but maybe he wasn't. Like, either it was revealed this episode or maybe it was revealed sometime before. But I have written that down. And then, of course, we had obviously the scene where Noah sort of reveals that he is the father. And then he also went on to say that he will kill Adam because Adam knew that Charlotte was his daughter and where she was when she was. And that he had also read the last pages. He also said something about bunker. So there was that. And then again, in another of those conversations that Adam had with Jonas, this I think I can talk about. He said something about God is time or time is God, like that line. It was interesting, that conversation, to be fair, because a lot of things he was talking, it seemed to be hyperbole, metaphorical, and stuff like that. Like, he was talking about how they had waged a war on time. as if time was some entity you could wage war on. Like, I do not understand that. But then this thing, the last big ball that we saw, which could basically take you anywhere in time, not just 33-year cycle, I guess tampering, tampering with time is, I guess, waging war on time, I guess. Like, you could sort of make that sort of a connection. And he also said something about how they want to create a world without time. Like, was he talking literally without time, which would mean like a world where, concept of time doesn't exist, or like it's not perceived like we are perceiving it, like past, present, future. It would be more like what we saw in Interstellar, that library scene towards the end, something like that. So I don't know that. I mean, are they going down this route of no time world? Like, I don't know. That was sort of confusing. Anyways, I'll come back to Adam and Jonas later. But then, okay, I guess there's only one more topic to talk about, which is Ulrich, Ines, and the whole thing that went down this episode. Man, I feel for Ulrich, like, honestly. I mean, this is his life, right? He was born. He then saw his brother being born. Then he grew up with his brother for like 10, 12 years. And then his brother got kidnapped. And for 33 years, he had no idea what had happened with him. He obviously thought that his brother was dead. And then he has his kid who goes missing. And then he finds a body which is not his kid's, but later he finds out that the body was his brother's who disappeared 33 years ago. He then discovers that time travel exists. And then he finds out the guy who killed his brother decides to go back in time following him, ends up going to a different time where he meets the child version of the guy who kills his brother, and decides that, you know what, if he is killed here, then my brother won't be killed and my son will be back, even though his son wouldn't be back because Helga didn't do anything to Mikkel. That's a different story. But Ulrich did not know that. So, because of these reasons, he decides to kill Helga and makes this sort of weird decision. For me personally, it was a weird decision. Like, he was just sitting there. He did not kill Helga and he was still sitting there and got stuck in 1953. Stayed 34 years till 87, where suddenly he finds out because of Egon that Mikkel is in 87, goes to meet his son, meets his son. They try to escape, and for some reason Mikkel does not support him, and then gets caught, and then sees his other two kids, Magnus and Martha, who have just time traveled to there, and then shouts out, "They are my child, they are my children, they are my children," obviously sounding crazy. And then towards the end, he was sort of all locked up and stuff. And he was struggling to move. I mean, that's a very sad life. That's a very, very sad life. And I feel like he's extremely unlucky. And I don't know. I just feel bad for him. That's all. And talking of Ines, so Ines has been stealing like sleeping pills and whatnot, and then she has been drugging Mikkel. So is that why sort of Mikkel sort of feels a bit, is that how he sort of loses his touch with his sort of the fact that he is from the future, like basically being drugged on a daily basis by Ines? Because I feel like that probably could be a reason why he did not sort of, help his father. Like, I don't know. I guess he couldn't have even helped his father because at the end of the day, Ulrich was, he was in that containment facility. He was sort of basically in prison because he was accused of killing two people and hurting the third one. So, unless of course anybody gives proof of otherwise, Mikkel wouldn't have been able to help Ulrich escape prison. But then he could have at least told and given some sort of details about the fact that, I am actually his son, and sort of raised these questions in people's minds. Then he did not do that. But coming back to Ines, like, I don't know, I feel really bad about her. I don't really like her, to be honest. Like, she's all right. She has just been a character that I couldn't really be bothered with. But now I feel like I don't like her all that much. It'll be interesting to see what sort of what happens with her, with that character in the future. Which brings me to the final topic of discussion. Adam and Jonas. At this point, I don't even know how to explain myself because everything is sort of confusing in this part. So, Adam says that it took him 66 years to understand all of this. And, he has finally figured it out. And then he talks about this loophole. And then he talks about, Jonas is asking all these right questions about, like, if all of this is a closed cycle, if all of this has happened before, then has this conversation happened before? To which Adam says yes. Which means that conversation has happened before. Which means all these questions that Jonas asked was at some point of time, Adam, when he was younger, asked those same questions to another Adam. I mean, the same Adam, but then, this is how time travel works. Okay. Which means that the Adam that you talked to also figured it out at that point of time, right? So, if everything is happening the same way, then why is this time that Jonas is going to go to 2019, June 20th, and save Mikhail, his father, from committing suicide? Like, why is that, first of all, being done now? And second of all, how is that going to help matters? So are you telling me that the Adam that was just talking now, when he was younger, he did not do those things, like going to June 2019 and saving his father? Like, did he not do that? Like, is this where we are seeing time being rewritten? Because still now we haven't seen that. And I guess it would make sense for this time to be the first time the time is being rewritten, because this time we have a time machine that can break the 33-year cycle. Until now, all the time machine that you have seen has followed the 33-year cycle. But then the question is, if this is the device, or this is sort of the thing, the entity that breaks the 33-year cycle, then was it not present the last time? Like, how does that work? It's a bit weird. Like, I'm not able to understand this concept. But let's skip that, right? So now tell me, why, or rather, how would stopping Mikhail from committing suicide, how would stopping that help in breaking the cycle? I mean, I guess you could always make the reasoning that, how in these time travel shows we have seen, like, you change a very tiny detail and a lot of change happens to the timeline. Yeah, that's true. But then, why is Mikhail committing suicide the beginning of the cycle? Let's say Jonas saves Mikhail from committing suicide, right? Which means that Jonas would never have the PTSD sort of thing that he was facing with. And obviously the fact that Mikhail is still alive. And I guess time would pass. From June, it would go to December. I'm guessing that because Mikhail is alive, that's not going to change anything. Noah is still going to, well, to be fair, we still don't know how Mikhail got transported back to 96. Like, who took him? Like, somebody had to take him. Like, was it Noah and Helga? So let's go with the assumption that Noah and Helga were the people who took Mikhail to 1986, then how would Mikhail not committing suicide stop that? Would they have never gone to the place? Like, forget Mikhail disappearing. What about Eric, the redhead guy? Like, would he have not been captured or kidnapped? I guess if Adam had said, or if the plan had been stop Mikhail from going back to 86, I guess, yeah, that would stop the cycle. Yeah, that would definitely stop the cycle, or at least make a significant difference in the timeline. And yeah, but then stopping Mikhail from committing suicide, I don't know. At least, I mean, I can't understand the logic behind it, if there is any. So it would be helpful if somebody explains to me that logic. Because right now, I am struggling to find the logic. So yeah, I guess that's also this reaction. It's getting pretty late, feeling sleepy. But yeah, this has been a very good episode. I do hope that both the reactions that I have made today, they have good quality and watchable amount of video quality as well as a listenable amount of audio quality. Yeah, that's all for this reaction, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do share your thoughts. And yeah, you know what? If you are somebody who hasn't subscribed to the channel and think that it's worth subscribing, please do that, because it will be fun. It will definitely make me happy seeing the subscribers amount increase. It's currently at 34, and it's much more than I expected, to be honest. But the fact that I do have 34 now sort of makes me want to see the number increase. And yeah, it would be really fun to see it increase. So yeah, please do that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.